Even if you feel like the questions that you ask are dumb or not, not legitimate to like the doctor, it is your question. Mm-hmm. And if your doctor can't answer, you need to fire them.
Hi, advocates, and welcome back to our podcast.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
I'm your co-host, Yaya Dawn.
And I am your handsome host, Noonday. And we have with us the lovely
Deandra Willis.
And we are so glad you're tuning in today. This is a safe, loving space dedicated to the beauty, resilience, and wisdom of those of us who are aging with HIV. Today, we're expanding our conversation to talk about the beginning of life, generational healing, and the sacred journey of bringing new life into this world. This episode is a continuation of our ongoing anti-stigma campaign, rooted in the foundational truth that love is greater than stigma.
Yes, and we know that Black maternal health crisis is a reality that our community faces every single day. What happens when we have Black women and maternal issues and also HIV at the same time? We know that Black women are strong, beautiful women that also suffer health disparities. And also, we want to find out what's going on with that today.
Love it. So to help us unpack this, we are sitting down with an incredible and amazing woman who is a subject matter expert on Black maternal health and HIV stigma.
Yes.
All right.
We're going to talk about reproductive justice, how to advocate for yourself in the exam room, and how we can surround our mothers with a village of love that completely obliterates stigma.
I'm ready.
So grab your tea, get comfortable, and open your heart.
And by the way, we want you guys to ask all the questions that you can possibly ask in the comments. This is an open conversation. We was very lucky to have her here to share her smarts with us. So let's get into it. Let's ask a lot of questions.
Yeah. So please welcome to the space, leading lady, Deandra Willis.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here with us. Normally, we would open up our podcast with a song, right? And that song would set the tone. So before we dive into this incredible expertise, what song comes to mind when you think of Black women, maternal health, and just living life?
I don't know.
I got one.
Uh-oh, what is it, no?
So you're having a baby. It means so much to me. There's nothing more precious than to raise a family. Yes.
All right, okay.
That part.
That aligns well with today.
So we want to ground this conversation in joy.
Okay.
D, what is one image, memory, or feeling that instantly comes to your mind when you think about the concept of Black maternal joy?
Black maternal joy. The first thing that comes to mind is peace. I say peace because most often when Black women are birthing in different birthing spaces, peace is one of the things that we fight for. Mm-hmm. And so as a full spectrum doula, that is my ultimate job, is to hold that space, to make sure peace is there, peace abides within the space, within the practitioners, within the family, within the birthing partner. But just the mama is peaceful, the birthing person is peaceful. So peace would be the word that resides the most with me.
Oh, I love that. That's a beautiful picture to hold on to. So we start there because we want to ground this conversation in joy and love, even as we unpack the heavy systemic barriers that our mothers face. Let's talk about how these barriers overlap. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, D, we hear a lot about the Black maternal health crisis and a lot about HIV stigma, but they rarely get talked about together. Mm-hmm. So for a mother listening right now, how do these two challenges collide during pregnancy?
They collide. The first way they collide is in the exam room. The minute the doctor come in, then see your chart, right there is where they normally stop, and they see you for your chart number versus who you are as a person. Most often, Black women are already having prenatal care, carrying the weight of a system that historically was built not to serve us. And for a Black woman, because I'm always preference Black women because that's where the maternal crisis is. For a Black woman to go in with fear, and then I'll just say all of the things, for me, if it was me, fear, Black, age pregnancy, heavy set, and then we couple that with someone that's living with HIV, it's almost like they're already starting at a deficit. And so a lot of that fear lives there when we talk about how they collide in the crisis. But the very first part is the exam room.
Gotcha.
Wow. Let me ask this question. What are some of the biggest myths or outdated misconceptions that Black women still encounter in the medical room that when you're pregnant, when you're pregnant while living with HIV? That's important. That's what I wanted to get at. What are those misconceptions? What are those outdated informations that they still get that would scare a Black woman in not having her piece during her pregnancy?
What pissed me off the most, because it pisses me off.
I love that. Pissed me off the most.
2026, doctors are still pushing fear on you shouldn't birth. They're still patient shaming as if a pregnant woman being pregnant and choosing to carry is an irresponsible mother or irresponsible person.
Doctors are telling women this?
They don't right off say it, but everything that they do will tell you that, and it alludes to it when, like I said, the first time, and kind of like what we kind of spoke about before we started, when we just having small talk before we started. As soon as I come in and I see your chart and I see you living with HIV, I'm gonna talk to you for that, not the pregnancy. So that alone tell me that you don't care about this pregnancy. You don't want me to be a mother. And so it's all of the things that, well, you sure that you got the right medicine? You sure that your medicine won't interfere with this? You know you may have to deal with this. You know you may have to deal with that. And it's not anything really to deal with besides you being on, whatever your treatment plan is, and then your treatment plan for your pregnancy. But doctors will put your diagnosis before your pregnancy.
Oh, and see, I was thinking that I would have been tricked into thinking that if you want me to take care of my HIV and that I'm on the right medicine, that it would also affect me having a healthier baby. But your concerns are saying, if you're there for the baby, be there for the baby.
Right.
I got my HIV.
Exactly.
It's one pill.
Right.
I got that under
Right.
wraps. I have an HIV doctor for that. We are here to talk about my baby.
Right.
My joy.
Right. And it's no different than if I'm a person living with lupus or diabetes, or if I'm a pregnant woman that has preeclampsia, high blood pressure, they're going to send me to a special care doctor to deal with that. But then I go to my OBG for my baby. Right. So it's no different than anything that I'm living with or mother's living with. They have a doctor for that. They have a doctor for this.
I love that. I love that.
Yes. Again, my backup question is this. Exposing those myths is so important because they directly feed into the fear that keeps mothers isolated. Let's talk about that fear because it often shows up in deep medical mistrust, which is completely valid. Let's talk about the validity of Black women saying, my doctor's not treating me right, it's not giving me enough information, because that happens a lot.
All the time.
And that's sad. So
not even just enough information, no information.
How about that?
How do the Black women navigate through all of that? Like, your doctor, and they say you're supposed to tell your doctor the truth, your pastor the truth, and your best friend the truth. I forgot about the lawyer.
The lawyer, don't forget the lawyer.
But when you tell your doctor the truth and you're not getting good information back, how do you navigate through that?
Well, one, I'm going to tell anybody, any Black birthing person, do not birth without a doula. And I'm sure we're going to cover what a doula is and how a doula support. But that is the way that you navigate it. I'll say Out of all the 4 people that you named that we tell the truth to, we lied to all 4 of them. Let's start there. We lied to all 4 of them. But I'll say even in the doctor space, they don't provide a space for me to even share my truth. I just went to the doctor, and the doctor never really asked. That's why I was like, how you feeling? What I went in for was one thing, but she never addressed it. You just look at me and you say, I'm going to do all the panels because of how you present yourself now. So I'm going to do, you check your blood pressure. I'm going to check it is. You're 41. I'm going to check all of that. But they never, ever asked me, well, what are you here for? Mm-hmm. So if you go in as a person that's pregnant, it's obvious that you're there for pregnancy, but that's really it. But they don't make room to say, hey, I want to be on, I'm living with HIV, I'm living with cancer, I'm living with these things. They don't make the room to say it. They'll look at that chart to see that you are, but to go in there and just have a genuine conversation of saying, hey, doctor, I'm living with HIV and I want to carry my baby. What way can you support me? I have not met a doctor yet, and I've been a doula for almost 8-9 years.
Yeah, okay, but like, how does the woman navigate through that? I don't think I quite heard what is she supposed to do at that point when she's not getting enough information from the doctor, not enough information. Like, give me some information to tell these people, to tell these young ladies, when you feeling like or knowing that your doctor is not giving you the right information, not giving you any information, and it's not making you feel seen and heard in that room, start from there.
Being stigmatized.
Okay. So the first thing is fire that doctor. That's the first thing. Fire.
How about that?
And we had a right to fire our doctors. Secondly, you want a doula, an advocate, even if that person looks like a friend that you take, a community health worker that you take. You want to talk. If I'm going to the doctor, I'm gonna say, hey, Noon, I'm going to the doctor. I'm having these concerns. Can you go with me? Because I may be in my feelings, but your feelings are not involved, so you can come help advocate. The biggest thing is the advocating for yourself. Advocating. If that doctor is not seeing or hearing you, you fire that doctor and you fire somebody else. Now, sadly, we have always, as a culture, just went to the doctor and trusted the doctor. We are out of those days now. You have to do the research before you go. You have to know what it is that you need. You have to know the questions that to ask. And even if you feel like the questions that you ask are dumb or not, not legitimate to like the doctor, it is your question. And if your doctor can't answer, you need to fire them.
Right. So did you hear what she said? She says, do your homework, bring your home girl, and also leave and fire your doctor if they're not hitting on nothing.
That's it.
That's right, because we're the CEOs of our lives.
Remember those 3.
That's it.
I love that.
I like to go the extra step and I report them.
So equipping our community with those advocacy tools is exactly how we push back. But mothers shouldn't have to fight alone. It takes a village. And that village includes community care partners like doulas and midwives.
Yes.
So, Dee, how can community health workers like Black doulas and midwives act as a protective shield against HIV stigma for a birthing person?
So before I answer, let me actually answer what a doula is.
Yes.
So a doula is a person that serves a birthing person, a mother, during their reproductive journey. So it's different phases of. I'm a full spectrum doula, meaning I'm going to serve a birthing person from the time they start all their reproductive journey. As a teen, before pregnancy, during pregnancy, after pregnancy, end of life, postpartum, menopause, miscarriage, all of the whole reproductive justice journey that we experience.
We more than one baby.
Yes, abortion, all of the things, yeah. Anything dealing with the reproductive system, I serve and I serve through that.
Best friends don't even do all of that.
They don't. They don't at all. And so the doula does not have medical background. Well, they don't give medical advice.
Right.
But most doulas, I'm a doula that have a lot of medical knowledge, but I don't give the medical advice. But the doula is only there to advocate for you, hold you, hold your feelings, hold your, keep you safe, keep you feeling safe within those situations, keep you comfortable, all of the things. Your midwife is going to be more like your doctor. They're only going to be there to deliver baby and, check mama's vitals, baby vital, and deliver the baby. That's it. They do the medical part. So when we talk about how you act as a protective shield against HIV, stigma for a birthing person, right? Holding the information is, like I said, so holding information and holding space is two different things. Your doula is going to be the one, to hold the information, but hold the space. So if I'm in there, I don't like to go in ready to fight, but I be ready to fight if needed. I don't allow for doctors to just tell a person anything. So I am notorious for, if a doctor is talking over my person's head, I like to call them persons, over my person's head, I am quick to say, give her a minute, give them a minute. Let's talk through this, because I want you to be informed about the decision that you're about to make. We sadly, a lot of majority, I don't even know the percentage, but I can tell you it's probably over 85% of Black women are birthing within the Medicaid system, which we're in this crazy medical system. A lot of the public hospitals, there's a lot of where we are birthing at, and so it's not a lot of room for mommy to go in without protection, without support. At a hospital birth, which is what a lot of people want to do, is fantasize, but it's not free. To have that baby outside of that hospital, you're talking about at least $10,000.
To have your baby at home?
Yes, to have your baby at home. Because you have to pay for your midwife. You have to pay for everything that you need to have this baby. So where I can create that environment at home, it's still a privilege and a luxury for people. Where a lot of us as Black women are birthing within the Medicaid system, we have to have them at the hospital. And so we have to go by the rule. So you got to have that support. And holding that space and knowing the system. I'll say a good doula knows the hospital that most of their clients are birthing at. Have relationships at their hospital, know the system, and even kind of know that some of the issues that we face as Black women, some of the underlying issues that we face as Black women, you know the procedure for that. You already kind of know where they're going to go with it. And so it's really keeping them informed of saying, hey, if we got to do this, and this to avoid this, and this. But even with the information, holding that information, if it's a person living with HIV and they're choosing to birth, it's you doing all that you need to know to be able to advocate for them, to educate them, so that they can make informed decisions with their doctors.
Right.
Even knowing providers, like if you ain't working, I'm gonna send them over here to you. So having that information and keeping, like, even just the stigma-free language when it comes to serving women that are living with HIV and choosing to birth. Like, their stigma, not the stigma, Lord. What they're living with has nothing to do with the pregnancy. Now, do they need the information for a viable pregnancy and a healthy pregnancy? Absolutely. Right. Because you have to let them know, like, make sure you stay within treatment so it's, no transmission to baby, all of the things. But you never let a doctor say, oh, you may not want to have this baby, your baby
that's
may
not his job to tell you.
It's not his job. Right.
And also, I wanted to talk more about the peace thing, how you said that the peace is the most important thing. So a woman with HIV, a pregnant woman with HIV is facing two fears on both fronts. Of the doctor that you just mentioned saying, I don't think you should have this baby, or don't get pregnant again, that kind of talk. And also the fear of HIV, of having transmitting HIV to the child. So what are some of the things that a Black pregnant female can do to keep herself at peace, to remain in a peaceful mode, dealing with all of this? Because this is not just a one-time thing.
Right.
As long as she goes to the doctor, she's going to hear that doctor saying that thing. And I know we went over those three things: bring a friend or a doula, and also get information and send the doctor home. So, with knowing those things, what are some of the things that she can personally do to keep her peace through all of that? Her personal woosah.
Her personal woosah.
Yes.
I would say as soon as you find out that you're pregnant, go ahead and start planning your birth. Meaning you letting your It's an infection disease doctor. I want to make sure I'm saying it right.
Infectious.
Right.
So you making sure you let that doctor know this is my choice, because you never want to go in with should I. You want to be sure I am carrying this baby. This is what I want to do. List out the things that you want to do. You see all of your providers that you need to ensure that you have a healthy pregnancy, so that you don't have to deal with the fear of the doctor telling you all the misconceptions and lying and trying to scare you. You already know your plan. Working with a doula that is versed and knowledgeable about HIV and what does that look like when we talk about transmission from mommy to baby. What does that look like if mommy decides to breastfeed? What treatment plan there are you on? Making sure all those things are done. And I'll say just being around a supportive village of people. If you know someone already has this whole negative thing about just you living with HIV, stay away from them. Right. Just stay away from them, because again, you're pregnant. You want to guard your peace, guard your sanity, and that's the worst time to be trying to go off on somebody when your hormones are all the way up and down, and you don't want to. And I always say that because the minute we get stressed, especially depending on the age you get pregnant, you may have to deal with high blood pressure. And the minute we have to deal with anything that comes with pregnancy, high blood pressure, diabetes, the doctor automatically say, oh, that's high risk. You already are deemed high risk as a person living with HIV and pregnant. They're going to write, oh, high risk off top. You don't want anything else that they can just give you to say, oh, that's high risk because now your pressure, those things. I think some of the other things that we can control is our diet.
Right.
What we eat, what we do, like working, not really just even in the gym working out, but movement, breathing exercises, rest, and have fun. Enjoy every moment of your pregnancy. Right. Life as Black people is crazy enough. So you take the little things and count the little things. That first kick that you feel, that heartbeat that you feel. Allowing people to cater to you. That was my favorite thing about being pregnant. Allowing people to cater to you, not trying to be superwoman, like enjoy, culturally back, if we go far back and like how women that were pregnant were honored. Yes. They were honored. They didn't do anything. The community took care of them. Invite that community in that's gonna take care of you.
Right. We need to go back to that.
So what I heard her just say was plan your pregnancy, protect your peace, and there was another one where you were saying enjoy your pregnancy.
Enjoy it. Yes.
So you mentioned breastfeeding, being medically adherent, and so times they are changing, because when I was my first pregnancy, I was told that I didn't want to have this baby because it could be a maybe baby. And this was during a family intervention. And I ended up having to get an abortion. To this day, that's still, I carry that. I carry that weight with me. And then when I got pregnant again, I was excited, but I was nervous at the same time. Yeah. Because we're talking about 1993 versus 2026. Yeah. Right? And so you're right. They automatically deemed me as high risk. They wanted to tell me that I could not have a vaginal delivery, that it would be best if I had a cesarean. Thank God I waited. Thank God by the time I got to the hospital and was in active labor, that I had dilated so that the cesarean was off the table. Right. It was a vaginal birth. What I hated was that I never got that epidural. But, and then I feel as if I were robbed of one of the closest experiences that a mother can have with her child, outside of carrying them and delivering them, which is breastfeeding. We know that if a mother is not undetectable, She is still able to transmit HIV to her baby via childbirth through that birth canal, so I get it. And she's also able to transmit it via breastfeeding. But in 2026, these mamas are popping out undetectable. And so when they're when we're undetectable, there is a less than 0.01% chance of us transmitting HIV to our babies via childbirth, and that same percentage applies to breastfeeding. So moms can even breastfeed their children now. You know, and I think that is such a beautiful experience. I would have loved to have homeboy latch on right here. You know what I'm saying?
I still latch.
Yes. So, let's see. A couple of more questions for you, Deandra. Before I go to the questions, though, thank you for talking about doulas and midwives. As a Southern Roots Collective graduate, I'm also a doula, and it was through Deandra Willis's education and training. So, how can community birth workers, like the Black doulas and midwives, we already asked that question. You handled that one. So, we're going to the postpartum period.
Okay.
It is incredibly tough for any new mom, but especially for those living with HIV. So, what does a truly loving, stigma-free support system look like for a mother in those first few months after giving birth? And I know you touched on it about the doula, and the support system. Is there anything else that you can add to that?
Yes, so the postpartum, that is the most pivotal time. That's actually where we lose our moms. When we talk about Black maternal health and death, not health, Black maternal death, we lose our moms in those first, I think it was at first 100 days. I think they done brought it back some.
Okay.
We lose our moms there right after their fourth trimester. And so postpartum is so important. Again, when I was saying culturally, as Black people, we did the first 100 days naturally where the mom sat down, didn't do anything. She drank hot food, brothy food, protein-rich food, iron-rich food, all the things. But now society tells us that after we did at hospital, we need to go back to work. You need a team, a collective of people that are there without an agenda, that knows what you need. And so just as we plan our birth, we plan our postpartum. So having whoever, your partner, your mom, your friends, come. If they say they're going to come and with things that you need, that no questions asked, no agenda, no medical agenda, any of that as far as your community. If people want to come, they need to cook, they need to clean, they need to hold that baby so you can rest, they need to hear you out, all of the things. A part of that postpartum team is making sure that your OB is talking to your HIV doctor, to your high-risk doctor, to your whatever, your therapist, all of those things, because
make sure they're communicating.
Make sure all of them are communicating, especially if it's multi-birth. If you are a person that deal with anxiety, depression, your therapist need to be in there, because to already live with it and then postpartum, it'll be postpartum anxiety, postpartum depression. It'll be exuberated because you already have a hormonal imbalance. So all of those people need to talk. And even if they're not talking because you're resting, you make sure you point a person out that knows everything, that can talk to your team and say, hey, this is what this is what she's experiencing. But that postpartum period is just for you to rest and your team to work.
So you know what? I will say this. As a Black woman living with HIV, being pregnant was stressful and anxiety-ridden in and of itself, because my fear at that time was that I would transmit it to my children.
Yeah.
So the anxiety is already through the roof.
Exactly.
Right? If you don't have a lot of faith, if you got bad knees and can't hit that floor, you know what I'm saying? It can be really hard. So did you all hear that? Make sure that your medical team is communicating to each other.
Yes.
And if you can't make that happen, you have a designated someone like a doula who will be able to connect those dots for you.
Yes, and don't forget the second thing, your at-home team needs to be cooking, cleaning, holding the baby sometimes.
Oh, definitely.
So you can get your rest.
Yes,
Definitely. Rest.
Rest is important. Rest and diet is important.
And your therapist also needs to be involved.
That's it. Your therapist to be involved.
You said because there's postpartum depression.
Postpartum depression and postpartum anxieties, and it's postpartum psychosis.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's deep, y'all. Okay, so building that supportive village is exactly how we prove that love is greater than stigma. As we wrap up this conversation, I want to invite you into a final reflection. Before we wrap it up, like, we didn't explain to the advocates how they can access doulas, doula services, midwifery services. So if you can also give the folks that information as well. And then I'll get to that final reflection.
Okay, so it is really many ways. Google will help you. I think the biggest thing, though, when you accessing a midwife or a doula is interviewing them. You want to be able to have a person that, you feel. So if someone reach out to me, most often with me, it's word of mouth. It's a mama on Facebook or wherever. Like, hey, I know a great doula, because to answer one question, why I do it, which is, and it will bring us back to where I'm stopping. Why I do it is because I've seen so many Black women die. I've seen so many Black women still are living with their pregnancy journey and experience, and they kids really they grandparents at this point, but they still deal with it because no one has ever told them that this is the thing, but you can get help for it. We as Black people always say, if you had high blood pressure, and I say, well, Mom, I got high blood pressure, what you gonna tell me?
You get it from me?
I did too. And your granny did, and your great granny did, and it's one of those things where it's just a perpetuation of like bad diet and stress of our life, that is not a thing that's genetic that's handed down. It's the stress that's handed down.
Gotcha.
It's the diet that's handed down. We never break that cycle, and so it seems to us that if you get it, I get it. And so I've seen so many women, and I started as a doula before I knew what a doula was as a little girl. I always just had this thing about birth. I always had this thing about serving. And so I always just did it. It wasn't until 2018. No, 16. Yeah, 2016. I do it by my kids. So my first baby was 2016. I knew about reproductive justice. I knew that I wanted to serve women with birth, but I remember also that it took a long time for us to conceive her, 7 years with no reason why. And so God blessed us with her. And then right after that, I got pregnant again. During that pregnancy, I was sitting in a meeting learning about Black maternal deaths. And I remember that day crying. And they like, you okay? And I'm just like, I'm so afraid that I won't be here to parent these kids, because I'm learning about this information of how Black women dying. And it's not Black women dying from violence. It's obstetric violence that they're dying from. It's that could be preventable.
Right.
All because they're not being seen or not being heard. It's the doctor's neglect. It's all of the things. And I experienced it myself. My first two babies are the same day. November 25th, 16, November 25th, 18. I remember going to the same hospital, and it was just a simple thing of, with the first baby, I went in at 5 o'clock in the morning. The second baby, I went at 3 p.m. And that doctor was using my records from 2016 for what I was having in 2018. And because I knew to say, no, ma'am, look at the date. That I was not here at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm just now getting here.
Right.
And I looked at her and I said, give me another doctor. Give me another care team, because this is how Black women are dying.
How about that?
It's the simple little things that they just don't do. And we wonder, like, well, how? And so because of that, that's what made me really get into doula. And I said, God, if you just allow me to be here for these babies, I'ma just serve the women. And so to go back to how do you find a doula? I don't advertise myself because I don't do it as a business. I do it because it's necessary. I do it because it's ministry. I do it because Black women need it. Black women need it like they need water and food to survive. Yep. You need a doula. You need a doula. And so it's important that when you do find your doula, because there's so many networks, there's so many collectives, that you interview with your doula just because they say that they can do it. You want to know, how can you support me though? Mm-hmm. How can you support me? Most of my moms that I support, the people that I support, by the time we have the baby, I'm so tired of them. Because I have doula them through life. It's homelessness, it's abuse, it's drug abuse. It's so much that I just need the baby to get here, and I need you to survive that fourth trimester, which is that maternal health period. I need you to survive that. Then once I get you through that, okay, now your family got you. But that is those things of why I became a doula, and I still do it to this day. And it's just about interviewing, not just your doula, but your midwife, because that's another thing. When midwives came about, where everybody's wanting a midwife, the hospital said, we're going to have midwives too. Well, it's the difference between a nurse midwife and a certified professional midwife. A nurse midwife is in the hospital, have access to the hospital, but they're still working within a hospital system. A certified professional midwife are normally the ones at the birthing center. They can come to your house, all of those things. Okay. Now, if your midwife does not know about your medical history, it is a high chance that you can get transferred to the hospital. That is no longer your midwife. You're now under the medical system. Right. So it's important that we interview and make sure that we are jiving here and our team is working here for us to have a healthy pregnancy.
I love that. Oh, thank you so much.
I learned so much in that.
What were you saying? What am I going to do talking with somebody about maternal health?
Right. I think the information that she gave us, it was so pragmatic. It was so there and easy to use. I kept breaking it up into threes, and the P's, protection, your patience, and your peace. And, so I believe that our audience will definitely understand that. It will definitely respond to that. Don't forget to ask us questions. We will deliver the questions back to you.
Oh, okay.
This ain't over.
That's right.
Right. This was a great segment.
Thank you.
Statistics that I learned about the Black women and death and how that shook you to do this, and that you had this in your spirit as a kid. That you've always been wanting to be a doula. You didn't even know what it was.
I didn't know what it was. I still will tell people a doula is just a word made up. It's something that we do. Like, if you are a person, and even when you said, what can I contribute to the conversation? Black men in itself contribute a lot to the conversation because y'all are the first point of advocacy for Black women. Even if that's, a man that's not even having kids, or, you are the first point of advocacy. If I would have never told if my husband never knew about just how I feel about pregnancy and reproductive justice and all of those things, then it wouldn't prompt him to speak up for me on their behalf or just be so trusting to the doctor for our life. So Black men have a lot to contribute to the advocacy of what it looks like for that birthing woman. And just because I know men that don't have kids, but they have sisters and nieces and nephews. And so sometimes you got to be the one to go to the doctor with them. Or even for your little girl, you got to be the one to go to them. And if you can advocate for yourself, you can advocate for them.
Right. I am now an advocate.
You can be a doula. I have a training coming up.
How about that?
Me in there with the baby and stuff?
You don't have to be in there with the baby. You don't have to be in there. I'll be in there for you. You just do the other part.
Well, I've been there with my sister. I have a sister. She has 7 kids, and I was there.
You a doula.
I'm a doula.
All right, doula no.
Yeah.
So listen, advocates. Our campaign theme is "Love is Greater Than Stigma." Looking directly at a Black mother who is living with HIV, who might be pregnant or dreaming of starting a family, but is terrified of the stigma. What is the love letter or message or affirmation you want her to carry to her heart today?
I see you. Enjoy your pregnancy. Find your peace. Find your team that's going to support your peace. And have your baby.
Have that baby.
That's it.
Thank you so much, Deandra, for sharing your brilliance,
Thank you.
your heart, and your advocacy with our community today.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This was amazing.
Hey. So, family, my heart is so full after that conversation. I want to extend a massive thank you again to Deandra for bringing so much truth, clarity, and love into our space today.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you for reminding us that our mothers deserve protection,
Absolutely.
not policing.
Amen.
Listen, y'all know where the button is. You all know where the comment section is. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you have a story about maternal health, go ahead and share it with us. And until the next time, thank you from the A Podcast.
All right. I like that.